Hey guys, so I kind of wanted to come on here and talk about the Shane Dawson docu-series that he did on Jeffree Star. Yesterday, which would have been Thursday for me, the last part of the docu-series was aired, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about what my take on it was from watching it. I would definitely advise that you go and watch it. I will link all 5 parts down below. I'm mainly going to touch upon part 3 and 5, but I will talk about parts 1, 2 and 4 as well, but not in as much depth as 3 and 5. So let's just get straight to it. So in part 1, Shane Dawson and the guy who films his videos, Andrew, are driving to Jeffree Star's house. They're both really excited. Shane seems like really anxious, really on edge, like he's just so bubbly, excited. He says that he hasn't been in the majority of the house. He was only ever really shown the filming room because he has filmed with Jeffree Star before. I don't know how true it is that he didn't get to see the rest of the house. I don't know because I wasn't there. They get to Jeffree's house and everything is pink. Everything is pink. Crazy. I don't know how Nate does it, but you know what? The house is beautiful. It just wasn't decorated in my taste, but it's not supposed to be decorated in my taste because it's not my house. So, but the actual house itself is so beautiful. So the first part is basically them talking about how he and Nate met. Like, Nate apparently was working in like a pet store in like a completely different town or completely different state to where Jeffree was, and apparently this was when he was still broke. He wasn't a multi-millionaire like he is now. They do like a house tour, and Shane is kind of like, this can't just be, he couldn't have paid for this life and this house and all these clothes and all these bags and all these cars and whatnot through just the sale of makeup. The thing is that I want to touch on, I'm not a big Jeffree Star fan. I only knew about him once I started watching YouTube. He's been around since before, like since the MySpace days, and Shane Dawson knew about him during the MySpace days. And this is kind of like, so you would know a little bit more about Jeffree than someone like myself. The thing is, what I'm trying to say is that through me watching a few of Jeffree's videos, I've heard him mention before that he has a merch business where he makes other people's merchandise for them, like other YouTubers' merch. And there has been another video where he said, you know, I'm here running like 10 businesses. So for Shane to say that, you know, like what is, you know, how did he make all of this money to pay for this lifestyle? It's kind of like, you don't know, but you're saying that you love this guy so much, and that, you know what I mean? But I guess it's because he has to create opening for Jeffree to say openly, I do this, this and this. It's all for the purpose of the content. You know what I'm saying? I highly doubt that Shane Dawson didn't know what Jeffree Star has in the works and has been doing. I highly doubt that. Same thing with the house thing. Like, I highly doubt that you weren't shown any of the rest of the house. Like, I don't believe that. But then again, he has to create a reason for like the house tour to happen because he's showing Shane. Do you know what I'm saying? So in part 2, they invite James Charles over. James Charles completely does a makeover on Shane and makes him look like Jeffree Star. And while that's happening, they're also talking about Jeffree's music career. If you didn't know, then Jeffree Star had a music career. He was signed by Akon, but the thing is, Akon kind of messed it up for Jeffree. That's just my take on it. He messed it up for Jeffree, because Akon did some really messed up stuff. I think it was like on the stage with someone who was like underage, from my memory of it. And because he was still building up Jeffree's career, because Akon was kind of like on the out and no one was messing with him anymore, automatically that ended Jeffree's career as well. Akon discovered Lady Gaga, but by the time he had discovered Jeffree Star, Lady Gaga was already an established artist. So Akon's mess up didn't affect Lady Gaga at all really, because she was a star in her own rights by then. She had already hit the floor running, people already knew about her, she had a few hits out, so it didn't affect her in the same capacity that it did Jeffree Star. So as far as I'm concerned, Akon messed it up for Jeffree Star. Whether or not it would have worked in the first place, I don't know, but from what did transpire, that's why. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so they went on to have a lot of fun, you know, messing around in the house and just like bantering and all that good stuff. So part 3, they went to Jeffree Star's warehouse, and Jeffree Star's like, yeah, I have this one, this one, this one, and it's like, wow, he has a lot of space for his warehouse. But then again, he is running not just a makeup line, he's running a merch business as well, where he has to print and store and dispatch people's merchandise. We have seen his warehouse before. I think when he did like a get ready my Rolls Royce or whatever with one of his ex-friends, there was a part where he said, oh, let's just go over to the warehouse and go get some liquid lipstick. And I remember that there was like a brief shot of his warehouse. It didn't sit in its entirety, but I kind of knew what to expect. Shane was like, oh, I was expecting like a little, it's like a little storage space or whatever. And it's like, obviously I know he was being funny, he was joking around, whatever. There was a part where they sat down in his office and he opened up more about his childhood, and that unfortunately his father passed when he was younger, and his grandparents as well, they're no longer with us, and he would have liked for them to have seen his success because he went through a very tumultuous childhood, and he would have liked to have seen, he would have liked them to have seen him come out on the other end. And I can completely understand that, because it's like, you know, the people who mean a lot to you, you want them to see you succeeding, you want to take care of them as well, and you want people to be proud of you. Let's keep it 100. You want people to be proud of you and your accomplishments. And I don't know what his relationship is like with his mother, but she is still with us, and at least he has someone who can say you made it. But again, I don't know what his relationship is like with his mom, but he did seem quite broken up about the fact that his grandparents aren't there and that his father isn't there. And he was saying that he felt so lonely growing up, and that is really sad. He also mentioned that, you know, when he started Jeffree Star Cosmetics, he basically started off with $3,000, and it grew and it grew and it grew. And I think the reason why is because he already had such a fan base behind him that the chances of him making money back quicker is a lot more likely, because you already have a fan base. It's not like you're a nobody and nobody knows you and you're just starting off no face, you're just a brand, you're just, you know what I'm saying? He already has that following. One thing that I did find strange was when Shane said, like, how much does it cost to run this place, like monthly or whatever? And Jeffree didn't know. And I would have thought that being someone who is claiming to be so hands-on in their business doesn't have like a rough figure to throw out there and say it costs blah blah blah. He had to go and get somebody else to come in and say it roughly costs around this much. I understand that he hires someone to take care of that stuff, but you're the head honcho. Why is it that you don't know this? And that was a little bit like borderline a little bit worrying, to be fair, because I would have thought that that was basic stuff that any business owner would know. Like, for example, a few weeks ago I had a meeting with like the big boss of the company that I work for, and you guys know that I do like payroll, accounts kind of stuff. Even though I don't hands-on handle the money, it's like doing all the admin for payments and stuff like that. So me knowing how much it costs to run place, it doesn't matter to me. But when in this meeting, he brought up a point about something or other and said, it costs me around X amount to run this place every single month. And that includes this, and this. And with a lot of companies that I've worked for, the people running it know how much it costs on average. Like every month is going to be a little bit different, but it was just a little bit strange. It was just kind of like, It was just that kind of moment for me. but overall it's like American dream. Well, I get it's not just the American dream, but a lot of people dream to do what he has done, which is come from nothing and create something. So either way, I can't knock this guy. He has made something of his life. He's done something with himself. And look at him now. He went from having 3 grand left in the bank, not knowing what was going to happen to him. And now look at him. He's huge. Okay, so in part 4, they go to Shane's house and Jeffree offers to get someone to fix his Mario Kart game thing, and they say they're going to go to the makeup lab so that they can see how the makeup is made, blah blah blah, which they do. And then they end up doing like a pitch for Shane's Illuminati conspiracy makeup palette, which might or might not happen. I think it will happen, and I think that it will be an amazing collaboration sales wise. I mean, look at how many followers Shane Dawson has and how many followers Jeffree Star has. That's going to be crazy amazing. So let's see what ends up happening. I reckon that if they do that, it'll probably come out some point next year. He did touch upon the fact that, you know, he has had a lot of friends who have betrayed him. In part 5, they go and visit Jeffree's old apartment, and it's like really small, and it's kind of relatable because it's like a lot of people are going to be able to say, well, wow, he's such a huge multi-millionaire, so famous, he's got so many followers, and he lives in this huge mansion with this handsome guy, and they have cars and they have Gucci everything and da 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 da, and look at where he came from. A lot of people are going to be able to relate to that, so I feel like it was a smart move on Shane and Jeffree's part to go to the old apartment. And he kind of talks about his scandals and he goes into a little bit more depth about his childhood and growing up. And he basically says, you know, everyone sees him as like a bad guy and people think that he's racist and whatnot. And he touches upon, he kind of tries to explain about the video where he was calling a girl the N-word on the street, and they show the video and there's 2 girls and one of them is calling, or both of them, I'm not too sure, were calling him the F word, the derogatory word for gay people, and he then starts screaming and shouting at them and calling them the N-word. And he says, but the thing is that nobody's really taking notice of is the fact that they were white, and to me that makes no difference. It really doesn't. Would it have been worse if they were black? Yeah, but it doesn't make it better that they were white. It really doesn't. The fact of the matter is, you use a word that you know is hurtful to attack somebody verbally. Should they have attacked him verbally? No, I do not condone that at all in any way, shape or form. I don't know if something had happened before they started exchanging these disgusting words to one another, but what I will say is that neither party was in the right, and quite frankly, either way it's still disgusting whether they were white or black, because you know the weight that that word holds, and that goes for both parties. There was a part in the video where he was screaming and shouting at them, like saying, what did you say to me, or something along those lines, and the anger in his voice is kind of like, this guy's had to probably put up with this kind of hatred all his life, because he sounded like he was at his wits end. I really think that you should watch this video. Like, as I said, I'm putting all 5 down below, but watch part 5 especially. The way he was screaming at them, you can tell there was pain, there was hurt, there was everything like building up. It was all in his voice. It was crazy. When I heard it, I was like, wow, that is crazy. So I can tell that there was a lot more to it than just that moment right there and then. It's probably been like, he's probably thinking about every single time somebody has said something like that to him throughout his whole entire life, and he can't just be who he wants to be. He went on to say, you know, people think that I'm racist because I've had arguments with, you know, black women and black people, women, people of color, but I have arguments with people of all races. And it's like, nobody is trying to say that you don't have arguments with people of all races. Everyone is saying that you are problematic and that you have arguments with a lot of people. No one's saying that you only argue with people of color, therefore you must be racist. People are saying that you are racist because of the things that you say to people of color when you are arguing with them, i.e. when you call them rats, which is short for hood rats. That's where the racial complication comes into it, because you are saying something which is mainly targeted toward people of color. For somebody to call somebody of color a hood rat or ghetto and whatnot, that's targeted toward a certain race. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very, like, when have you ever heard someone call a white person a hood rat? You don't. You normally hear them being called like trailer trash or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where people are coming from, and I feel like he just went straight over the head with that. Like, no, you completely missed the point. That's not what people are trying to say. And the thing is, people like Jackie Aina have already pointed this out. So how are you missing that point? No, he completely just missed the point wide. He also went on to say that, you know, he used to self-harm when he was younger as well, and that is so sad. Like, I know a few people who used to self-harm, and he also revealed that his dad actually took his own life when he was small. So that's another thing as well. And again, he just kept on reiterating, when he was younger he just felt so alone, and he never really talks about these things, not even with his boyfriend, which is, you know, it's just a sad situation. Thankfully he's able, like, don't get me wrong, money doesn't buy happiness. I already knew that anyway, but at least he has something to look forward to. At least he has a great guy to go home to, because I do feel like that relationship is real. I know a lot of people saying, oh, he's gay for pay, blah blah blah, and I know they try to say, oh, he's straight, blah blah blah. Whatever he wants to call himself, that's what he calls himself. But I think that it's good that he at least has Nate. Obviously I don't know their relationship and, you know, the dynamic and blah blah blah, but from what they put out there, what I've seen, it does seem genuine. Overall, do I think that Jeffree has changed and that he's a different person? I can't say that he's a different person. I don't think that he has changed from what we have seen recently, but has he changed from when he was like back in the MySpace days to now? Considering all that anger that I saw, yeah, but I feel like there's still a lot of anger there, and maybe he needs to see somebody about it and talk to somebody about it, because he says that he just keeps it all inside, which probably isn't a healthy thing. And we all have problems, and we could all benefit from talking to somebody like now and again. Do I think he's a racist? I don't know. Quite frankly, he put his foot in it when he did the mess. And do I think that his relationships with people like Manny MUA, Loreal and whatnot are his fault? I don't know. He says that they use him for connections and blah blah blah. I think what it is as well though, Jeffree seems to be a very, very giving person. That has been something that I've noticed. Like when it was Nikita Dragon's birthday, he got her stuff. Even throughout this series, he got Shane's stuff, which was like worth thousands of dollars. I've seen him get Tati something as well. He's constantly been giving. So I don't know whether or not he gave up his connections and they were misused or whatever. I don't know. Or whether or not these people actually came to him and said, oh, I need your connections, or can you help me out, or blah 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 blah. I think probably what he needs to do is just stop being so generous, because people can see that you're being generous and will use that to their advantage. Because to you, Jeffree, money may not be like the things that you buy, like you got Shane like thousands of dollars worth of stuff. That to somebody like me is like, oh my god, that's like earth-shaking. But for you, because you have so much, it may not be as much of a big deal. But then for somebody who finds that a big deal, that's when they'll start using you. That's just what I feel and think, because there are some vultures out there who are just happy to take and just take and just take. You gotta rein it in, and it's probably a good idea that you don't have these people as your friends anymore. Do I feel any different about Jeffree Star since watching this docu-series? No, I don't, because I know soon enough there's going to be another outbreak of some situation and he'll be cussing somebody out and blah blah blah. But do I think that I understand Jeffree a little bit more? Yes, I do feel like I understand him and his viewpoint a little bit better, but only time will tell where it will lead to. But you know what, he doesn't owe anybody anything. Let's just keep that 100. He doesn't owe anybody anything, and if you don't like Jeffree, just don't watch him. Do I think that the Shane Dawson docu-series is well put together? Most definitely. Shane Dawson, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to pull the strings and be the puppet master when it comes to creating and editing footage and creating content. He's amazing at it. But yeah, overall, I don't look at him, I don't look at Jeffree any different. I really don't. So down below, tell me what you thought of the docu-series. Do you look at Jeffree any different? Do you feel sorry for him? Do you feel worse about him? Do you feel like what do you feel? Let me know down below. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.